Hey, what's up guys? My name is Rob. Welcome back to Rule of Two Review. And it's time for some E3 hype. This has been kind of bugging me for a little bit here. Is the simple fact that there just hasn't been a lot of E3 hype. It's just a couple of months away. I've talked about this a few times. Not quite sure why people haven't been picking up on that yet. The rumor mill hasn't even really been running too seriously. I mean, people talk about Fallout 4, but that's kind of one of the only things I really hear. So it's fine. I just wanted to do my part and add something to the conversation because I'm freaking pumped that it's almost E3. I think most people should start getting that way too. I certainly don't want to be alone here. So last year I ran kind of an E3 hype sort of, I don't know if you want to call it a series, but I made a couple videos that seemed to be pretty popular. So I kind of wanted to do some of those same kinds of videos again this year. One of the things that I did last year was I made a list of, I think it was at that time, the 10 games that we knew about going into E3 that year that I was the most excited for. This year I'm going to do that for 5 games. So 5 games that are not surprises, they're not mysteries, they're not rumored. These are games that we know about, are confirmed to exist. We've seen a lot of information on them. You may be seeing some of that stuff even playing behind me. And I kind of wanted to discuss the 5 games that we know about that I'm most excited to hear more about at E3. So this list was pretty hard to put together because I narrowed it down to 5. I could make a list like this that could be 20 games long, 30 games long. There's so much to be excited about. There's 3 amazing consoles. There's always wonderful things happening on the PC. The 3DS is alive and kicking. And honestly, even some people love mobile stuff. It's a huge market. So there's certainly a lot to be excited for no matter what it is that you game. And I would definitely say that narrowing it down to 5 was really difficult. So keep in mind that there are so many other games that I wanted to include on this list that even made it very close to making it on this list. I mean, there was probably 4 games that were so hard to cut from this list. I don't want to go into those now. I decided not to do an honorable mention. This is just the 5 games from 5 to 1 that I am the most excited for. Again, to learn more about at E3. My next video, just so you know, I'll tease that now, is going to be about the 5 games that I'm hoping to hear announced at E3. Games that would be a surprise, or games that are rumored. Games that some people might not even be thinking about, but that I would like to see at the show. And I pretty much have those 5 already nailed down. So that's going to be a more exciting video to put together. But first, I wanted to do these games. So take a look, share your thoughts on what 5 games I talk about, and also the 5 games that you might like to hear, because I'm sure they're going to be different than the 5 I'm most pumped for. So that's it. I'm going to get to the goods, and we're going to kick this off with number 5. Okay, and coming in first at number 5 is Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, because I am honestly just a huge Uncharted fan, and I'm also a huge Naughty Dog fan. It's actually kind of surprising to me that when I pieced these 5 games together that I realized I was going to make Uncharted number 5, because really Uncharted's 1 and 2 stand as 2 of the best games I've ever played. And a lot of people like Uncharted 3 just as much. I randomly hated Uncharted 3, and man, did I ever try. I went back and played that game a year or 2 after it came out thinking I can't possibly have hated this game as much as I did. And, you know, I gave it that second shot, and it really didn't seem to make much of a difference. But, you know, my issues with Uncharted 3 aside, I'm still a huge believer in the series, and Nathan Drake is an amazing character, and I cannot wait to see what Naughty Dog is going to do with their first actual next-gen PlayStation 4 game. Obviously, they did great remastering The Last of Us for the PlayStation 4, but that was a PS3 game, a 2013 release, so not quite the same boat as their first ground-up experience, especially for what has become their flagship title and series. Even though, yes, they were making games well before Uncharted, that's really what brought them into the modern era and gave them their current reputation that they have right now. And, you know, really Uncharted 4 being at number 5 just kind of speaks to the strength of the rest of the list, or at least I should say how I feel and how excited I am for the other 4 games above it. But make no mistake, I think that Uncharted 4 is going to be an absolute masterpiece of an experience. I think it has more than a good chance of being the best game next year. Well, okay, let me not say that, because we know it got delayed to 2016, but the other game that got delayed to 2016 was The Legend of Zelda. I can't imagine that Uncharted is going to be better than that, but it's going to be amazing, and in any other year would be probably a front runner to be the best game of that year. So I'm really excited for this game. The initial trailer reveal that they showed really didn't get me all that excited because it was just a little CG movie of Nathan Drake waking up on a beach, and you can hear Sully's voice telling him to be motivated and yada yada. So it was really just good for the sake of the reveal. Of course, at the PlayStation Experience in December, we got a lot of gameplay. We saw 15 minutes worth of Nathan Drake kicking ass and, spouting out his, comedic quips and just being his regular, typical, awesome self. The action looked great. It didn't look revolutionary. It's really just much prettier Uncharted action and combat. But honestly, that's all I really want out of it. And I think most Uncharted fans would tell you the same thing. So I think that this game is going to deliver. I know it's going to be better than Uncharted 3. I'm really excited to see where the story takes us. And I just flippin' miss Nathan Drake, man. I just want him back in my gaming life. So I am super excited. Without question, Uncharted is my fifth most anticipated game, I should say, that is confirmed to be upcoming and to more than likely be shown at E3 this year. Coming in at number 4 was a game that I wasn't sure where I was going to place on the list, but ultimately it fell here. That is Halo 5 Guardians. Another game that on any other list would have made it even higher. Because, man, I love Halo. I've always loved Halo. There was a period in like the mid to late 2000s with around Halo 3 and ODST where even though those games were still doing very well as far as sales and being received well critically, there was a period where people, the gamers, seemed to be so down and against Halo because Call of Duty was on the rise and people seemed less interested in Halo. They weren't into talking about Halo. It wasn't a part of the conversation. Luckily, those years have gone away, and sure enough, like the interest in Halo has resurfaced, which I think is really great. Halo 4 was a masterpiece, easily my favorite Halo game. And I'm really excited to see what 343 is going to bring to the table with Halo 5. The recent reveal trailers, Master Chief and Spartan Locke, and the way they had that kind of duality happening with two different trailers happening with the same scenario. I mean, it's just, they're doing really cool things with the marketing, and it makes me really interested in the story. I cannot wait to see where the story is going to go and continue from Halo 4. I want to really understand what the Reclaimer trilogy is all about and what that means. And I feel like Halo 4 was a tease, and Halo 5 is going to explain it further before finally delivering in Halo 6. So, I don't know what else to say. Halo is just amazing because while, yes, it always has a great online component and you can lose countless hours, weeks, and months to playing online and all the great maps and modes that they have, for me, that's secondary surplus to the story and the campaign. I just want a kick-ass campaign to go through 1 or 2 times, maybe initially by myself, a second time with some buddies. I love the co-op aspect. That's what made Halo a huge deal when it first showed up in 2001. And I don't know, I believe in Halo, and I believe in 343. I think that's the other part here is, so far they've shown me great things. Yes, with the Master Chief Collection, they had issues with stability and with the servers. I totally get it, and that sucks. But that's different. I mean, with Halo 4, their actual game that they created from the ground up, they did better than even Bungie ever did before them. And I think with Halo 5, we're going to see the continuation of that sort of dedication and quality. So, I could be wrong. We'll have to see. I understand that Master Chief left. The collection left a bad taste in people's mouths, and I totally get it. I even agree with you. But personally, I think that they're not going to allow those mistakes to bleed over into Halo 5. So I have nothing but faith. Halo 4 is my 4th most anticipated game for E3. And at number 3 is the Zeitgeist title, the most controversial title probably on this list because only in the last couple of days was it revealed and confirmed for this year. And it's gotten a lot of people kind of upset about a couple things, even myself. However, my issues still aren't preventing me from being more than excited for this game. That is Star Wars Battlefront 3. Now, I made a video, 25 minutes long. I'm like the biggest Star Wars fan in the world, and I was very happy to spend 25 minutes talking about why I was excited about the news that came out of Star Wars Celebration earlier this week, and also kind of disheartened and a little worried and concerned about Battlefront after this news. There's a lot of things that I don't necessarily love about what they're doing, and that I am certainly worried about. The way they're treating DLC for this game specifically, or the way they're teasing the DLC, I'm not happy with that, the lack of the prequel stuff, the lack of space battles, no single-player component, all these things. There's issues there. But at the end of the day, the more I've sat down and thought about it and just mulled over the fact that it's Battlefront 3 and it's coming and the little bit of gameplay we saw looked great, that's all that matters, man. I'm really just excited to have a really good quality Star Wars game come to us. Like I said, Star Wars all but missed and abandoned the 6th generation completely. There was a few half-assed attempts at games, and The Force Unleashed, to me, was a humongous, gargantuan letdown. So I feel like the fact that not only is it a new Star Wars game for this new 8th generation, it's also the return of Battlefront. I think it's going to be amazing. So yes, there are the issues and the things that have me worried, but they just don't supersede the excitement that I have. And you know, I mean, to know that we're going to get some sort of air combat, you know, even if it's just in atmosphere. We know that we saw Boba Fett. We know Darth Vader's involved. What time period throughout the original trilogy is this going to take place? We know that they're going to do the prequel stuff in DLC, which is stupid, but I'm sure that the content itself is going to be so good that I just don't care. I can't wait to combine those universes again like we could in the first 2 Battlefront games. And it sucks there's no single-player component, but I mean, I have nothing but faith that the online component, the majority of the game and the gameplay and the Star Wars content is going to be top-notch. So, are they screwing some things up? Yes. But will they probably ultimately make a pretty goddamn amazing package? Absolutely. So I'm really looking forward to this game more than just being excited. At E3 specifically, I want to see them hopefully quell my fears and show us why, hey, all these things that a lot of you are worried about, here's why it's not a big deal. Here's why it's not as bad as you think. Here's what we're doing that you can be excited for. So really, I'm excited for Battlefront 3 to have them show me why I should still be excited. I can't wait. I'm a gigantic Star Wars maniac. I can't wait for Episode 7, and I cannot wait for Battlefront 3. And coming in at number 2, closing in at number 1, is going to be a personal fan favorite. That is going to be Xenoblade Chronicles X, because Xenoblade Chronicles is one of the best games I played the last generation. Definitely stands in my top 3 RPGs of all time, alongside Tales of Symphonia and Mass Effect 2. So Xenoblade is a seriously big deal. I think that a lot of people who haven't had a chance to experience it or understand what it's like aren't quite familiar with what makes this game and now a series so good. The way that I've always described the original Xenoblade Chronicles is that imagine that The Legend of Zelda and The Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, for example, and Final Fantasy all got together and had a baby, and this baby was Xenoblade Chronicles. That is exactly what these games, or what this game, I should say, looks and feels like. And Chronicles X is going to be so amazing because it's going more into the sci-fi element. We've got space combat going on. We've got a much grander story, it looks like. We've got mech combat. We've got larger worlds to explore, which is insane because the first game had huge worlds to go through. It's just, there's so much going on here. We've got character customization. We've got more characters to choose from. We've got automated, weapons, guns, rifles, things like that, long distance weapons to use in combat. The online component, which is insane. I mean, you get like 32 players in one map, and it's basically like the best version of a console MMO that still is a story-driven game first. So there's nothing but amazing, exciting things going on here for Chronicles X. It's gorgeous. Might even be behind Uncharted. It might even be the best-looking game on this list, although number 1 is a mystery. I think that it's just going to be Xenoblade Chronicles X. Right now is my personal contender for what very well could be my game of the year because I just believe in it that much. Without question, my second most anticipated game for E3. And number 1 is, without question, the triumphant return of my main man, Star Fox. For a couple of reasons. One, because I'm a humongous Star Fox fan, and his return is long overdue. Thank God for Nintendo and my other main man, Miyamoto, finally bringing this game back, and they're going to use it on the Wii U, showcase why the gamepad is important, do amazing things for the content that the Wii U already has, and I just think that this is going to be such a fantastic thing. The other reason that this is making number 1 is because of what I just said a second ago. The game is still a mystery. So what's great about Star Fox going into E3 is it's a game that E3 is actually going to deliver upon its promise. That's what E3 is about, is real info on a game that you really shouldn't know too much else about. A lot of the other games on this list, we've seen a lot, we've heard a lot, we know a lot of basic things about them. Star Fox, we know next to nothing. We haven't even seen it. So it's going to be really exciting to see them finally pull the veil back on this. That level of excitement, the excitement of you know the title, but you haven't seen it until we show it to at E3, that to me is what E3 is about. That is the power of E3. That has me just jonesing. I think that Star Fox could also is also a very strong contender to potentially be my favorite game of the year. And a huge part of that is the old school gamer in me that grew up on Star Fox and this 8 and 16-bit gaming, and Star Fox 64 is just one of probably the 10 best games I've ever played for its time. And we just need more Star Fox, man. I think that this is the game that it just speaks to me as a gamer and as someone who grew up in the 80s and 90s gaming as a huge Nintendo fan. And the first Star Fox on the Super Nintendo blew me away. I used to hang out in KB Toys just playing it until a friend of mine finally got it, and I used to play it at his house. And I mean, I've just beaten that game in 64, Star Fox 64, so many times. And so, I mean, I just think that this is going to be amazing. You know, again, this game, the fact that we know nothing about it and will finally understand it and have the veil pulled back at E3 exemplifies what E3 is about and what that hype is about for games you're excited about. And the fact that we know this is also part of the big Nintendo push to further showcase to people, to gamers, you know, new and old, what the gamepad is about and why the Wii U is important, because the gamepad is a part of that system. And using Star Fox, you know, one of Nintendo's main huge AAA brands, as a showcase for that. And the fact that it's, you know, my theory is that it's taking the place of Zelda as their flagship holiday title. There's just nothing but great things to talk about. You know, you could probably tell I could gush about Star Fox at this point for the rest of the video, but there's not much else to say. We don't know much else about it, so I just simply cannot wait to see it. I cannot wait to play it. I'm so glad all signs point to it still coming out in 2015. So, you know, like I said, without question, Star Fox, my #1 most anticipated confirmed game for E3 2015. All right, and that's my list of my 5 most anticipated games that we know of coming to E3 this year. Thanks for watching and checking this out, guys. Please feel free to share your thoughts on my 5 games and also share the 5 games you would most like to see and are excited to hear about at E3 this year. There's obviously varying opinions. Everyone has different things to be excited about. That's what E3 is about. There is no wrong answer. Whatever game you're excited about, it doesn't matter what it is or what platform it's for. This is the time to be excited, you know? So it would have been nice if I had a reason to have, you know, a PC game or even like some portable games or something represented on this list. But, you know, as I said, it was really hard to narrow it down to 5. I wanted to make this a list of about 20 games, but I needed to narrow it down and keep it concise. So trust me, there's a lot of games that almost could have made this list, but at the end of the day, these are the 5 that have me most excited to learn about this year. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new to Rule of 2 Review, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, like, rate, and share the video. Comment about your 5 favorite games, 5 most anticipated games, I should say, below. And that's it. I'll catch you guys next time on another E3 video for Rule of 2 Review.